Thank you, Commissioner. Let's start with questions. Paola, you were first, so go ahead.
Hello, Paola Tama with the Financial Times. Minister Domanski, would you be able to tell us why wasn't it possible to reach an agreement on SAFE now? There is a question of whether to allow subcontractors from third countries or not. What is the Polish presidency's view, and when are you going to put any new compromise or suggest a compromise on the table? And secondly, at the informal ECOFIN in Warsaw, you had a discussion about further defense funding beyond what was on the table, SAFE, the NEC, and so on. Is there any steps that you foresee still within your presidency mandate on that? Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, we didn't aim for the agreement today. I believe that we, as a presidency, will really act really quickly on this proposal from the European Commission. Frankly, I believe that the pace of our work shows that Europe can act really quickly, decisively when needed. And of course, there are, and I can tell you that the discussion today showed really broad consensus that SAFE is really, really needed. So of course there are a couple of issues that we need to specify. We need to clearly adjust. Having said that, I'm really optimistic, and I do believe that we'll manage to find a consensus, finalized work on this file during Polish presidency, hopefully in May.
And other sources of financing?
Sorry?
There was a second question about other sources of financing.
Sure. For us, working on the European Commission proposal is a top priority, and we act as a presidency and an honest broker. So for us, always the Commission proposal is top priority. This is why right now we focus on SAFE. This is why we welcome the whole rearm package as a huge step into a good direction. And right now we are absolutely focused on this proposal. Having said that, as soon as we will manage to secure SAFE, of course there will be some follow-up to our discussion in Warsaw. Also today there were some member states who were expressing their view that there is a need for some further action. So just let me be very, very clear. SAFE is our top priority, and rearm package is absolutely crucial. Having said that, there is a broad understanding that there is a need also for other instruments.
Thank you. All right, next question. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Bulgarian television, BTV. My question is for Commissioner Dombrovskis. Is there any reason for a delay in the process of Bulgaria's adoption in the Eurozone? Thank you very much.
I cannot now comment on all the domestic developments, but we had a conversation with Finance Minister Petkova together with European Central Bank and the President of the Eurogroup. So the message from Minister Petkova was very clear. So the Bulgarian government, together with National Bank of Bulgaria, have submitted a request for convergence report, and the government and National Bank are sticking with this request. Correspondingly, the European Commission and the ECB continue to work on the preparation of convergence report, and it's foreseen that we'll finalize this work in early June.
Thank you. Roland?
Thank you very much, Roland Papnipsava. I also have a question regarding SAFE. Do you expect that all member states would be eligible for such loans, or do you think that there will be, or do you expect some conditionality on rule of law or other to be included in the final text? And if so, why do you think it's important to include anything like this?
Well, so, as I said, SAFE is a crucial step for building strength of European defense industry. This 150 billion of loans is crucial for long-term in a long-term perspective, and of course, all member states are eligible. The general rule of law conditionality applies, but member states are of course eligible.
Let's stay there. Yeah? You have Thomas there.
Yeah, just in regard to the forecasts, which are due next Monday, and which have been slightly delayed. You gave quite a negative, foretaste there in your opening remarks. I was just wondering, though, if the US, China, tariff ceasefire, would that not give you cause to give the forecast a bit more of an upbeat tone? And also just looking ahead to the general economic outlook in the second half of this year, what are the risks of an Eurozone recession?
Indeed. So we see those US tariffs as a factor which is negatively affecting the EU economy and the US economy itself, and also with negative global implications. By the way, also the IMF has revised downwards its world economic forecast to 2.8% growth this year. If I'm not mistaken, it was 0.5% percentage point reduction to compare with the previous world economic outlook. From the European Commission side, we broadly share this analysis. So all in all, we expect a negative economic impact. Obviously, this easing of trade tensions between US and China is heading in the right direction, but it's worth noting that the 30% tariffs which the US would continue to apply to Chinese goods also in this 90-day period is still quite high tariff level and correspondingly trade distortive. But of course it may ease somewhat the trade diversions concerns we had on also possible trade diversion towards other markets, including US market. But we will have to continue monitor all those developments very closely.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Thomas.
Thank you very much. Thomas Nielsen at Euractiv. I have two questions. So the first for Minister Domanski. So regarding the safe loans, you said there's a couple of issues that need to be addressed. Could you just elaborate on what these issues are that need to be addressed regarding the safe loan? And another question for both of you. So the finance ministers of Lithuania and Sweden this morning said that the EU should impose an 18th round of sanctions on Russia. So in addition to the 17th one, which is about to be formally agreed. Do you support an 18th round of sanctions? And if so, what should these sanctions target? Thank you very much.
Good. So, as I said, we do agree on vast majority of issues. There are some countries who would prefer to have slightly more flexibility. Some countries who think that the flexibility that is proposed right now is enough. There is also a discussion about time frame, but actually I believe that there are no major outstanding issues. So I do really believe that we can achieve this compromise this month, already in May.
On this second question, also our today's discussion on Russia's economic outlook shows that prospects of Russia's economy are very closely linked to their hydrocarbon exports. and correspondingly as a most effective way of reducing the revenue flow for Russia's war machine is exactly limiting its fossil energy exports. And on this, that was a focus also on a previous sanctions package, including substantially expanding the number of shadow fleet vessels which are subjected to the sanctions, and in this same direction also the recent European Commission initiative goes concerning the phasing out Russian natural gas supplies to the EU. And obviously from the Commission side we are ready to work to continue putting pressure against aggressor Russia, both in terms of new sanctions, but also in terms of stronger implementation and fight against circumvention of existing sanctions, which is important focus given that 17 sanctions packages are already in place.
Go ahead, just behind you there is a colleague. Thank you.
Thanks. Janos Allenbach-Ammann from Table Media. I have a question to both the Minister and the Commissioner regarding the Savings and Investment Union. You said previously that there is a lot of expectations for swift progress on the securitization file, and I think we will see this in June, if I'm not mistaken. But that's quite a small part of this SIU, right? Is there any other concrete step that can be taken that you see there is appetite for among a lot of ministers that how the Savings and Investment Union could be pushed fast in the next months, and maybe also considering the new German government? Thanks.
First, let's focus on securitization. And this is the file that we are waiting for quite long. We are expecting this to be presented in the first quarter, then in the beginning of April. Now it seems that it will be presented in mid-June. So frankly, there will be not too much time for Polish presidency to work over that. And well, it was our priority, one of our priorities to focus on securitization. Having said that, today it was really clear that countries, with member states, expect this to be presented by Commission as soon as possible, and also that we would like to see an ambitious proposal. I believe that, as I said, it's not a silver bullet. It will not create, it will not save us from all problems with our capital markets, but it's an important step into a good direction. So this is why we are encouraging Commission to present this proposal, and of course Denmark is also willing to work over that.
All right. Yes, please, go ahead. And then... Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, Fanny Hu with MLEX. Small question, short question for you, Mr. Domanski. What are the chances that you will stop working on the retail investment strategy? Thanks.
Well, so we gave retail investment strategy a third try. As an honest broker, as a presidency, we believe that if there is a proposal, we should work over that. We are not particularly happy with the progress that we have achieved so far on this file. We believe that there is a need for simplification of and getting burden, regulatory burden in this field, and we don't think that it's the proposition that we have received is going into this direction. So there is, of course, still a discussion, and we are eager to work further on that. But we are, let me put it this way, we are expecting something else.
Well, if I may, just a few general points here. Well, in general, there is a broad consensus on the need and importance of capital markets union and savings and investments union and willingness to move forward. But then, as also our today's discussion show, that devil is often in detail. Therefore, from the Commission side, we already announced our new savings and investments union strategy, and we will obviously be following it up with ambitious proposals. And we also welcome the work of the Polish Presidency and Council on the proposals which are already on the table. And from the Commission side, we will certainly do our utmost to advance this agenda. We think it's important for the EU's competitiveness and for the financing of the European economy.
Thank you. Tatiana, please.
Thank you. Tatiana Vysotska, European Pravda, Ukraine. My question is, I want to bring back the attention to the state of Russian economy. My question is for both Commissioner and Minister. After the discussion, what are the main conclusions that you made? You partly answered that the Russian economy is not so strong as Russian propaganda wants to say. But what are your conclusions, and how European Union can beat Russian economy harder with sanctions, and when? Because 17th package is not so big, and it's already almost reached a deal what will be in this sanction package. So these new ideas which you have after today's discussion, it will be in 18th package, and when you will start to discuss it?
So maybe I'll start. So first of all, the aim of the discussion today, and the reason that we decided to invite Professor Becker, was to get rid of the myth that Russian economy is doing fine. It's not. We know that the inflation is way higher than official data present. We know that the growing share of the Russian budget is financed from taxes, not from proceeds from oil or gas. And that's important because if you know that Russian economy is getting weaker, you know that sanctions work, and then, of course, it can encourage for further actions if needed. So I believe that it was really valuable presentation of Professor Becker, and I'd like to thank Sweden for this presentation. Our goal is clear: the aggressor must pay, and we are all, and it's absolutely clear from all of our meetings that ministers of finance are really determined to do more if needed.
I fully agree with all what Minister said. Just to complement a few things. Well, once again, indeed, the emphasis was that the main source of Russia's revenues is fossil fuel exports, so that's probably then the area to focus, and we have already long since banned the import of Russian coal. We can impose, together with G7 partners, a price cap on Russian oil, and also working against Russia circumventing this price cap with the help of shadow fleet and so on. We also, as the European Commission, presented a strategy for Europe to phase out Russian natural gas supplies, so cutting Russia off this revenue. Of course, we also note that while the EU has been phasing out Russian fossil fuels, Russia has been finding other consumers, but it's also worth noting that those consumers are paying substantially less what Europe used to be pay, so it's still important we maintain this pressure.
What about 18th package?
Well, as I was mentioning, from European Commission side, we are certainly ready to continue to put pressure on Russia, including by working on new sanctions.
Thank you. There's a question from Angela in the back.
Thank you. Angela Scugins from TVP World. You've spoken about sanctions, and this really relies on the unanimous support from all of the 27 EU member states. But what happens if one member state in particular does not support this? Was there discussion today regarding other options on the table, such as capital controls or tariffs applied to Russia, so this would allow the EU to circumvent that unanimous support? I'm just curious if that was discussed today and what the appetite is from both Poland and the European Commission to explore this. Thank you.
Right. Of course, it's clear that all countries need to agree to another package of sanctions. But my perception is that willingness to act is actually growing among member states, and more and more often we are discussing the issue of frozen Russian assets. Again, I would be rather optimistic here.
Well, in any case, we need to continue to explore all options as regards specifically tariffs. One of the decisions we have taken early on in the war was to remove the most favored nation status from Russia, and correspondingly having this possibility to put higher tariffs on Russia, as we had already done for a number of goods, including agricultural goods, covering bulk of the Russia's trade in agricultural goods vis-à-vis EU, just to give one example. Also, when we are now discussing this initiative of phasing out Russian fossil fuels, it's also Russian natural gas. It's also using other legislative legal bases than sanctions. So indeed, we are exploring all options. And on sanctions, indeed, those are difficult discussions. But so far, we were able to agree on a large number of sanctions packages, and basically putting unprecedented level of sanctions also through this unanimity procedure. So we need to have all the tools and all options on the table.
So let me just add that this fear that one country could block it, can block a sanction, is not a new one. It's actually, with each sanction package that we have adopted, there was such a question. And we managed to do that. We managed to adopt successive packages of sanctions. Also, the 17th package was, I believe, really well received by member states. And this is also why I'm optimistic that if needed, we are ready to act.
There's the last question. David.
Thank you. David Carretta, Radio Radicale Italiana Radio. I'm here. Since you are mentioning this issue and Russian frozen asset, the sanction, all the packages should be, the sectorial sanction should be renewed at the end of July, and one country could put a veto on the renewal. Have you started a discussion with your colleagues to avoid a scenario which would be catastrophic for the European Union, basically the transfer of Russian asset to Russia? Thank you.
You take it?
Yes. Well, on this, first, it's worth noting that we do not have this kind of in-depth discussions on sanctions in ECOFIN, since ECOFIN is not the council dealing with this issue. But on the question of Russian assets, it's worth noting that immobilized Russian assets right now are also underpinning the G7 loans initiative, and it's actually the proceeds from these immobilized Russian assets which are being used to repay the loans which are provided under G7 era loans to Ukraine. So clearly any any actions concerning Russian immobilized state assets, how to take this important factor into account. But as the Minister already outlined, indeed, sanctions is unanimity. So far, we have been always be able to reach this unanimity, and that remains the intention also going forward.
Thank you very much. That concludes this conference. Minister, Commissioner, thank you very much. Dziękuję I do widzenia.
Thank you.
Thank you.